Yeah, we rode in together.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You see that car, right?
All right, we'll just open it up for questions for Coach.
Don't all shoot at one time.
So how's the early part of this week been? I guess you've been focused on UConn, for a couple days now?
Yeah, yesterday was a Sunday for us, game week. Players had the day off. This was a Monday. Got a chance to get out on the grass and get them moving around a little bit. They're in the weight room as well, but mentally get an opportunity to kind of get a jump start on UConn. Did a little bit last week as well, so refamiliarizing themselves with some of the things that we had in. But really today is when you implement your entire normal down game plan.
Coach, is the first game of the year the toughest to prepare for because you're kind of, for your opponent, you're going out with flashy tendencies maybe, and there's nothing you can really see from this year?
It is difficult because they've had almost an entire calendar year to kind of change who they are. I mean, they've done the same things that we've done where you go back, you self-scout yourself, you look at your personnel, you're going to tweak what you do. You have a core value or core principles of who and what you want to be, but you can be dramatically different. So in week one, there's a depth chart of where personnel is for them. A lot of those guys haven't been on the field for them or did not start for them. They've had a year to get better too. So you got to be ready to make a lot of adjustments during the course of the ball game.
Just looking back on camp, were you happy with how things went? Did you address the questions that you had going into it?
Thought our guys competed extremely hard. I've said this before. When we put the ball down, they walked through the gate and went on the practice field. They competed, they got after it. They did push themselves to get better every single day. I think, being in game week, the ability to kind of focus in and see that, ultimately we're getting a chance to play here at the end of the week is important for them, that sense of urgency. And I know they're excited, our coaches are excited to get out and kind of go prove ourselves one play at a time, one game at a time.
Jasper Malone gets the top billing at right tackle. What did you see from him?
He's athletic. He's been mature in how he handles himself since he got here in January. He's done a great job of adding a lot of weight from where he started when he got here coming out of junior college. He's athletic. He's got a great skill set, and I believe he's going to play at a high level for us.
Daryl Mackup, the number 2 drop at quarterback. You mentioned the other day really executing what you guys were giving him. Was there anything that over the last couple of days that went into the decision?
Yeah, maybe fundamentally it has improved as much as anybody inside of our program. Certainly at the quarterback position, he's grown a lot since we got here in January. Really like what he's able to do mentally and physically, put himself in a position to be successful. Still, there's a lot of growth left for him as a player, but he's clearly the number 2 guy for us right now.
Coach, I'm wondering what your feelings are in this. I mean, there's a ton of build-up for this game. It's your first game as head coach. It's the first game of the season. Are you nervous, excited, anxious?
You'll have all those feelings. You put 8 months into something, you should have all those feelings if you care deeply about it. And that's the great thing about this game is that you work a lot of hours for a very few limited number of opportunities, 12 that are guaranteed. So, I'm excited to get out there and compete with our players. It's week 1 for us. And, so we've talked through the inevitable ups and downs that happen during the course of a 60-minute game, how we're going to operate, how we're going to communicate. But inevitably, we got to go do it one play at a time.
How well prepared do you feel like you are as you are the head coach for the first time in this game?
I feel like I'm really prepared. The most important thing you do as a head coach is you hire outstanding staff, and we have that. Trust Randy and the defense staff, what they're doing on the defense side of the ball. Great plan, extremely organized. Nick Toth has done a phenomenal job with the special teams, and so you lean on those guys and trust in their opinions. And then as a head coach, I'm still heavily involved in the game planning on the offense side of the ball, like what we're doing there. But you try to do some things as far as game mechanics, managing the game as a head coach, and make sure that our communication process is going to be clear on Saturday. And I say Saturday meaning game day, but we're excited about that and feel prepared.
Opening with the game, opening with a conference opponent, does that add to the whole everything?
Well, it's difficult because it's week 1 for us as a program, players and staff together. It's difficult because you're going to be on the road in a hostile environment. Being able to communicate clearly is important. And then a conference game, does it add to it? Well, it adds to it in the importance that one of our goals is to go chase a conference championship. So, we got to go out and play well and find a way to get a win.
When you were offensive coordinator, were you upstairs in the booth?
I've been on both sides of it.
So it won't be a departure for you to be calling plays from the field?
I've done it both ways, and I trust the guys that we have up in the booth. John Cooper, our tight ends coach, will be up there. He's been with me for, 6-7 years, so he sees it like I do, and will be able to clearly communicate
When
to
did
me.
you do it both ways? Like, where did you do it one way and where did you do it?
At Oklahoma, I was up the entire time. Missouri, I started down, went up, and so I've done it both ways.
With
What's
this,
your message going to, I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead.
What's your message going to be to the team when you guys head off on the road? Obviously, you're going to get the best from UConn. Everyone's going to come out with you. What is your message in this week, in this first game?
The message to our players has been pretty consistent. There's a couple things that are important to us in the way we play. We want to be aggressive. We want to attack. We want to attack the football. We want to take care of the football. So on the field, that's what we're going to be about. For us as a program, since I took over in January, the thing that I've tried to make sure that our players buy into is controlling the things that you can control and control the things that matter. And at the end of the day, everybody's going to want to go win on game day. It's how badly do you want to win in the process leading up to it. So our preparation will put us in a position to be successful.
When you're calling the plays as a head coach, do you just sort of leave the defense to your defensive coordinator and concentrate on the offensive game plan, or how does that work?
The game planning side of it?
Yeah.
Are you talking about
No, I'm
today,
talking
or
about
are you talking on game day?
On game day.
Yeah, I think there's communication that has to happen at the end of a series with the offensive staff. What they're doing defensively, how that presents what you want to do the following series, and then once you're finalized on that and you give an instruction to your staff, then you're back on the headsets with the defense side of the ball.
Obviously, if someone's a true freshman and they can help you, they're going to play. But with the new rule, they can play in 4 games. Have you guys decided how you maybe want to manage that with some guys who maybe you aren't sure about? Is that something that will kind of come to you as the season goes on?
Well, if guys are in a position to help us, whether that's on special teams or on one of the other 2 phases of the game, we're going to play those guys right now. Injury happens or they don't perform well and you make some adjustments to your depth chart, maybe they become a guy that ultimately ends up redshirting. You're also going to have guys that maybe aren't on that right now, on the 2 deep or looking to play. As injuries happen during the course of the season, or they continue to progress and perform well, maybe they earn the opportunity to go out and play. So you got to manage it kind of week by week.
Josh, when you went and you were a player and as assistant coach, that the coaches you've had in the past, were they big rah-rah guys before games? I mean, they give a big speech, and is that something that you might try to think about doing before you're in the locker room?
Yeah, I love the big rah-rah speech, but on the opening kickoff, once you get hit in the mouth, the rah-rah speech isn't doing a whole lot for you. It comes down to your preparation and kind of the mentality that you've built for the entire 8 months leading up to that. And that's why we try to attack every day the same way. We try to make practice a game-like situation so that our kids are comfortable going out and performing. And I think we're ready to do that.
How about Thursday night, prime time, national TV,
Yeah.
spotlight for everyone with what happened last year and the notoriety? How do you advance that?
Great opportunity for our players to play in front of that audience, our staff as well. Great opportunity to continue to build our brand, our logo. And at the same time, our kids are used to playing in big games. And, once the ball's kicked off, it's 11 on 11 inside the white lines.
Is it like one of those wow things, Thursday night prime time, conference opponent, after what happened last year?
I don't think it's a wild thing for our players. I think our kids are looking at this as the first game for us, that we get an opportunity to go out and play, and it's another big stage for them, but I think they're comfortable and relish those opportunities.
Has anyone reached out to you? To wish you luck this week?
Not yet.
Right.
No, that usually happens closer to kickoff. Good luck.
Coach,
Appreciate
what's
it.
been the most fun thing about this football team to work with?
Great question. On the field, they love to play ball. I mean, they really do. They're physical. They love to compete, and they talk a lot of trash to coaches and players alike. Outside of it, I love that we got a lot of personalities. I get a lot of personalities. On my way over here, past the dining facility, ran into a group of 3 players at one stop and about 5 on the other, and they're cracking jokes, they're having fun, and they like being around each other. And that's important to me, that when our kids walk into the building, they have fun and they enjoy being around each other, but also interacting with their staff. And for where we're at and in the short amount of time that we've been here together, I think there's a closeness and a bond that is going to help us on game night.
Speaking of,
there's a bunch. Sean Burgess, Becker will talk a ton on the defensive side of the ball, there's no doubt. Mackenzie Milton will do a little bit of trash talking too on the offensive side of the ball. So there's no shortage of guys that are talking.
were you a trash talker in your playing days?
On the practice field a little bit. You got to have fun. During game day, not really.
You
Coach,
commuted.
have you ever heard of the civil conflict and the trophy and the whole history of all that?
I've heard bits and pieces from some of the fans around here, but not a lot.
Do you detect a chip on the shoulder of some of your guys, or all of your guys, and has that been motivating for them?
I don't know if chip's the right way to place it. I think our kids have an urgency and an expectation that sits within our program and it sits inside of our locker room. That's important to me. And it can't just be about going and trying to prove something to somebody else. It's about enjoying the process and going out and competing and being your absolute best. And I think our kids do that.
The Garvey Center opened up last week, the player cafeteria. How
Yeah.
important is that for your programs? I know you talked about revamping things when you got in here.
Yeah, we changed the way our players started to eat in January when we got here. I think it's shown itself in their ability to perform and how they look and how they feel. I think that will pay dividends into how healthy we are as we go throughout the course of the season, certainly the back half of the season. It's important to me that we do everything we possibly can to give our kids everything that they need to be successful, academically, socially, in their faith, and certainly on the football field as well. So we're trying to do that in every area.
Georgia O'Leary was here a couple days ago, stopping by. What did you talk about and discuss, and what did he say to you?
We talked on the phone before the day before, and then he was able to come over to practice too. I think that guy Coach O'Leary put a ton of time and energy into building this place, and I'm thankful for the building blocks that he put in place, and Coach Frost as well. So I'm able to take over a program that's continuing on an upward trend projection, and we're trying to continue to build it one day and make it better every day.
Coach, in that same vein, there's obviously a lot of expectations this year.
Mhm.
How important is it for you as a first game head coach for your team to come out and look really good?
It's important for me, and it will be every day that I'm the head coach here at UCF, that we go out and perform well on game day, but also on the practice field. I'm a prideful guy that takes pride in the work and energy and effort that you pour and put into something. Our kids are that way too, and so we relish the opportunity. You get a very few amount during the course of the season for all the days that you put into it, so you better take advantage of every single one.
What did you
Time
think
for
of the
2 more here.
preseason rankings?
I'm not even sure where they were depending on the poll.
21 in AP, 23, I think.
Awesome. Preseason rankings don't mean a whole lot, so hopefully we'll go out and play well this week and continue to do that as we go throughout the season.
2 players who weren't listed on the 2 deep, Parker Butcher on the offensive line, and then Drew Cody on defense. Just wanted to get your thoughts on.
Yeah, we're
each of
really
those
pretty
players.
healthy for the most part. A couple of those guys are just nicked up a little bit, and so we're trying to get guys that are healthy out there.
Do you expect them to play this week?
Do not right now.
Anything else?
I know you played
Just as you scouted UConn, what, in your opinion, what's dangerous about the Huskies going up there?
They got a lot of new personnel on the defense side of the ball. It'll be interesting to see, how much they are different from a year ago schematically. I mentioned it earlier in the press conference. We got to be ready to adjust on that side of the ball. Our defense against their offense, they got a quarterback that's coming back that played well last year. Their wideouts are all back. A lot of veteran guys up front, so they have a lot of pieces coming back, and we'll pose some threats on the outside as well. So, and then in special teams, they're fairly new. Got a new punter that's a rugby style punter, which poses its own set of problems, and got a kickoff guy that's really well and has put a big percentage of those things in the back of the end zone.
All right, guys, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Get some
Thanks a lot,
players in
Coach.
here in a minute.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Sure.